Did you know that around half the games for the Atari Jaguar are multiplayer games? And I bet you thought that second controller port was just there for good looks, because who the heck would want to play Jaguar with you? I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I count down the top 10 multiplayer Atari Jaguar games. Just barely missing this list because it's a bit of a homebrew and somewhat of a new game is Rebooteroids. So if you don't have that one, well, go out and get it. It's an awesome single player experience and a pretty darn good multiplayer one. But it didn't quite make my list. So it starts now.
Second Opinion Games.
Number 10, Fight for Life. Yes, there are better fighting games for the Jaguar, but none in 3D. And this is a hilarious game because you just can't seem to land punches. You jump all over like a bunch of crazy animals, and if one person has a 6-button controller and the other person doesn't, well, I guess someone is at a slight disadvantage here. This is what early 3D fighting games were like, and I think everyone should remember that. So you pretty much have to play with a friend to share in the experience in all of its glory. Number 9, Club Drive. Yes, this is the only best of list that actually includes Club Drive. Now, I love playing this game single player, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch that review. But I love it just as much sharing it with a friend. I actually personally laughed so hard during this entire recording that I was crying. It was so much fun just racing into walls, trying to either capture those power orbs or going on a terrific race where I couldn't make it 4 feet without flipping over. This is not the best game in the world, but it is an excruciatingly fun one. And when it comes to playing with your friends, you're just trying to have fun. Number 8, Super Burnout. Sometimes it's not about just having fun. It's about the head-to-head action and who's going to make it to that finish line first. And that's where this super scaler really shines, with a split-screen action that's almost unparalleled across any system, even to this day. The graphics look clean and beautiful. Watching your friend wipe out around a corner means that you're going to slow up so you don't make that same mistake. And then when you have to pass your buddy, well, you better watch out because they can cut in front of you and make you wipe out, because running into your bike only takes one of you out in this game, and it's gonna be a tight one from start to finish. Number 7, Brutal Sports Football. Pretty much a misleading name, because this isn't much of a football game so much as it is run a ball into a goal, or maybe even a death match where you just try to kill everyone. The game can be tight unless you kill the opponent's goalie, in which case then it's going to be a bit of a runaway. If you happen to tie, well then it goes into more of a beat-em-up slugfest, just trying to rip the opponent's heads off. Now, one big strategy in this game is picking up a sword instead of the ball, and then kill everyone that comes near it. But that won't get you the win if you can't score those points. Unless, of course, you kill all of the other team, in which case, by default, you win! So, play the way you see fit, and you're gonna have a great time. Number 6, Ridin. the best overhead shooter on the platform, and it will make you wish that you have turbo buttons. And having a second player means that things are going to be twice as hectic. It also means that it's going to be twice as easy because you can lay down some pretty suppressive fire. But with everything going on screen and a big portion of the screen taken up by that crazy bar to the right, well, you're probably gonna die. And with a second player, you will see the end of this game every single time. It's more about who can play better and get the top score and the experience of having fun with a friend in the same room and fully powering up before he does. Stealing those power-ups is almost a must to stay alive, and this shooter will have you playing for quite some time. Number 5, Tempest 2000. If you love vector graphics and terrific music, this game is for you. It also has a very rich multiplayer experience. Playing Tempest Plus mode means that you could go through almost 100 levels with a friend and literally just play until you both collapse and die. Or you could go head-to-head in a couple different maps, and things are going to get pretty tough here. If you're not shooting, you have a shield that reflects the bullets back, and if you are shooting, then you're vulnerable to being shot yourself. But things don't get that simple. Sometimes there's an orb that you have to shoot over to the other person and kill them, or maybe just the bugs that will come and capture you. Each person has their own of those to take care of. So there's deep strategy involved in what should be a really simple game. Number 4, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. NBA Jam is a staple for multiplayer experiences, and the Jaguar does not disappoint. You could play with a friend against a computer and try and win it all, or you could go head-to-head and try to beat down your opponent. Now, depending on your strategy, you could just shoot a bunch of threes and hopefully you get in the lead, or you could just take it to the hoop and slam a jamma away. Block some shots, but try not to goaltend, and just maybe you'll be catching on fire in no time. Now, I do have a couple complaints, my biggest one being, how come Charles Barkley's not in this game?
That's a terrible idea.
But honestly, this is one of the best basketball experiences of all times. And if you didn't experience it on the Jaguar, then what are you waiting for? Number 3, Atari Karts. And everyone knows that kart racers are best played with friends. Now, you don't have turtle shells here, but it doesn't mean you're entirely defenseless. Sometimes you can pick up a power-up that really messes with your friend's steering, and that gets really old really quick. The split screen action here is fast and frantic. You do have to go around 5 laps, but in total each match will only last about 90 seconds, which means every turn counts, and every second on that clock could mean the difference between first and last place. Can you take on your friend in this split screen action and not get sick from all the hills? Man, this up and down, it's starting to make me a little nauseous. Number 2, Doom. That's right, this epic first-person shooter experience can be shared with a friend if you have two Jaguars and a huge crazy setup. And chances are you don't. That's why it's number 2 on this list. But there is deathmatch here where you could try and take each other down. Honestly, I only recommend playing one map in this entire game, deathmatch, and it always ends the same way, with a connection failure, because you never make it to the frag count before that connection failure hits. But also, you can play the single player experience in brilliant co-op, which also always ends with a connection failure. But forgetting all that, it's a terrific game of head-to-head action, and blowing apart demons in hell has never been so much fun. Number 1, Worms. That's right, the best multiplayer experience on this entire console is a bunch of cute worms shooting each other with bazookas. But things don't get that easy. There's also landmines and Uzis and special punches. Heck, even sheep come into play in this game. Trust me, it happens. There's airstrikes, homing missiles, and much, much more. On top of it, the levels are somewhat randomly generated, and you could even write down codes to experience your favorite levels again and again. This near infinite gameplay means that you're going to be playing with your friends for pretty much ever. And it's fully customizable, so you could just use bazookas if you want, or keep all of the weapons at your disposal at all times. And that's why this brilliant, cute game is my number 1 pick for best multiplayer experience on the Atari Jaguar. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. I had a great time making it. And did I talk about your favorite multiplayer game for the Jag? If not, let me know. Or just let me know what your favorite multiplayer game is for this system. Also, an honorable mention goes out to Battlesphere Gold, but because of its rarity and super high price tag, means no one's ever probably going to play it multiplayer, like, ever. So I really just couldn't include it. And if you want more of the Atari Jaguar, well, I reviewed every single official released Atari Jaguar game and a ton of homebrews. And I'm not quite done with this system yet, by far. So until later, I will see you again, guys.